One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. Then let me be free.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hears battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. The whistles report he pays his way. More legend in the making, day by day.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We got a big morning for you guys, a big news morning. Great to see everyone in the chat, man. Great to see you. All right, so we've got a lot going on, as you guys can tell. We got a lot of Operation Epic Fury updates. The way that I have this labeled is Operation Epic Fury expands. Artemis 2 set for launch, which is NASA, by the way. I believe they're going to be launching off tomorrow or the next day. Something like that. Anyways, they're getting ready to launch off tomorrow or something. And then, of course, Iran war latest. So let me go ahead and give you guys a chronological breakdown of what we're going to be discussing this morning. First, we're going to be talking about a shooting that happened in a high school over there in Texas. I believe it was called Texas High School. Literally, that's the name of the school. Big ordeal. It was basically a student that ended up shooting a female teacher, and then as he was leaving or something like that, he got shot and killed. So she's alive still, I believe. She's in the hospital, the teacher. But lots going on. Anyways, that's more local stuff on like a national level. We're going to talk about a lot of things on the international level, though. Iran war. More U.S. troops arrive in Middle East as Trump posts threatening message about Iran. And now he actually just put a pretty threatening post up about 2-3 hours ago this morning. So there's a lot of shit going on. And then also a very interesting thing. This is something we already kind of knew was going to be a thing, like the sleeper cell ordeal. Well, the FBI came out and are talking about the Michigan synagogue attack. And they're labeling it, quote unquote, Hezbollah-inspired attack. And none of that is actually surprising. And then we have Artemis 2 flight. NASA officials brief media ahead of moon mission. So let me see. It says preparations, which could launch as early as this week in Cape Canaveral, Florida. The first launch opportunity is set for Wednesday. Wow, super interesting. So that would be tomorrow. Anyways, more on the Middle East. We have a lot of stuff on the Middle East, of course. White House says Iran war timeline remains in place, and I think they're talking about 6 weeks in total or something like that. I just don't see that being actually true. And then TSA workers begin to get paid amid record long DHS shutdown. Very, very interesting that they're getting paid. That's great. That's actually great news. And then we're going to be talking about gas on a national level here. National gas average hits $4 for the first time since 2022, so 2022, as Iran war continues. Yes. Then we have this morning, President Trump shares a video of massive explosion in Iran, which I did see that. I think that very video that they're going to be talking about is something I saw like at 1 o'clock in the morning last night. So I saw it. I don't know if it was leaked on social media or what the deal is, or maybe it's a completely different video. But nonetheless, we do have an update from the Pentagon, by the way. You guys know how they do these lengthy press briefings or whatever. Hegseth and the Pentagon update on Iran war, quote, cut a deal. And then we, of course, do have an update from Central Commands, from CENTCOM, gives an update on Operation Epic Fury as strikes intensify in Iran. So anyways, that's what we're looking at this morning. We've got a lot to discuss, obviously. Real quick, let's do our call to actions, and then we'll get right into the craziness. Make sure you guys hit that like button, man. It helps out the show, and it's free to do so, by the way. Double tap that screen if you're on the vertical side, and hit the subscribe button. This is what we do Monday through Friday, and then, of course, Saturday morning for members only, man. And speaking of members, please consider becoming a member. Starting only at $3.99 a month. We're making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody. But check it out. This is what allows us to be on these airwaves as well as have these lights on. So thank you guys for becoming members and staying members. Little side note here, follow my Instagram at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time, breaking news, as well as the campaign trail, man. It's a great way to get a hold of me one-on-one. And we also have a Discord server for all of you legends. We only do the show for an hour, by the way. So after the show's done, usually we all go to the Discord and we hang out and talk about the show, talk about things that are coming up, whatever. You know, we give you guys breaking news in there as well. And last but not least, all super chats, super stickers, gifted memberships, and membership signups are, of course, going to be presented live and shouted out onto the show. But if you guys would like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they'd take from your hard-earned cash, by the way, we have these platforms scrolling around the screen at any time. You guys can donate to those, and I can have 100% of the proceeds. And, of course, I'll read out loud anything that comes our way. We've got the email up, ready to rock and roll at any time. We're scanning. Always be scanning. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for being here. We got a lot of legends in here. Real quick, I'm going to try to say hi to as many of you guys as I can, but we do have a lot of you legends in here. We got Dean Savage in the building, Carney Vanguard as well, and thank you for the raid, Carney, as well as Motobomb and the Coffee Crew. Thank you guys for the raid this morning. I very much appreciate that. We got Brother Steve Easy in the chat, as well as Rabbit of Chaos. Good morning to you guys. We got Warliner up in the building. We got Brother So Loud from the Boondocks in North Carolina. Shout out to you guys. We got Jimmy Mack as well. Shout out to you, as well as Brother Beezer. Shit, we got Scrambled North in the building as well. Shout out to you guys. And let's see, we're rolling on down as fast as I possibly can. We got Steve Posey as well as Pops, my man. Great to see you in the chat. Hopefully you and Mountain Woman are doing great. And we've been praying a lot over here for and you as well, you know, for the family. We're scrolling our way down as fast as I possibly can. Sorry, guys. We got Lick It Up with Poncho. Shout out to my man. Good morning to you as well. And we got Jessica as well. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning. I definitely know that we are. Easy Frank, that is terrible. Excuse me. That is absolutely terrible, Easy Frank. I feel terrible for you. We got Joseph up there in Canada, by the way. We always appreciate our favorite snow Mexican, by the way. We got Sick Bastard in the building. Shout out to you as well. All right, let's go ahead and bring this up. We're going to be discussing this shooting at this high school in Texas. I believe this the actual name of the high school is Texas High School. So pretty broad. Anyways, here we go.
Welcome back into Live Now from Fox. I'm Ryan Schmelz. We do have some breaking news to get to right now.
I got a question for this guy.
Why are you gay?
Monitoring what appears to be a possible school shooting out of Austin. Belvedere High School. It's been placed on lockdown.
Oh.
This is from our Fox.
Wait. Well, there are two different shootings because one happened at Texas High School. That's literally what they called it. Maybe it was just bunk information yesterday. You know what I mean? But nonetheless, it was in Texas, so it's got to be the same thing.
Affiliate there in Austin. So the Comal County Sheriff's Office is investigating a shooting at a high school in the Belvedere area. Hill Country College Preparatory School is on lockdown. You can see the aerial shots there right now, the heavy police presence, the fire presence, the paramedic presence as well. Students are being transported to Belvedere Middle School for reunification with their parents. I'll go ahead and read some of the article off to you as well. The Comal County Sheriff's Office is investigating after reports of a shooting at a high school in the Belvedere area.
And Carrie, by the way, shout out to you. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning as well. And yes, Sterling actually sent me the picture last night, and that's awesome, bro. That's awesome that you guys got to hang out.
CCSO says this is not an active shooter situation, but the school remains on lockdown as this is an ongoing investigation. What we know, deputies were dispatched to Mustang Vista near Hill Country College Preparatory School following reports of gunfire. Officials say one person has been shot and taken to the hospital. Hill County College Preparatory High School has been placed on lockdown. The Carmel ISD says that law enforcement officials are on campus and say the building is secure. Students and staff are in a secure area and the threat has been contained. So it does not look like that is no longer an active scene as of right now. We're going to show you a couple tweets.
Now, I think, let me see if there's any information in here. Nope, of course there isn't. Shit. Well, I'm only assuming that this is the story that they were talking about yesterday, late last night, about a shooting that happened between a student and a teacher. And that's what I had actually saw last night. So who knows? Maybe this is a completely different story, but I think the fire exchange didn't necessarily happen with the teacher because it was a woman. She didn't shoot him or something like that. He was walking out and got shot.
Here that we have coming in here as well. The Carmel County Sheriff's Office is investigating after reports of a shooting near a high school in the Belvedere area. And as we just put out there, and as we learned from our affiliate down there at Fox 7 in Austin, it appears that it is no longer an active scene. It does remain on lockdown, as we said before, but it does appear that there is no longer an active threat to the public.
Well, yeah, because he's dead. He was pronounced dead. All right, so anyways, we're going to go ahead and move on. Iran war, more U.S. troops arrive in Middle East as Trump posts threatening message about Iran. Now, yes, I do believe the 82nd Airborne actually flew in early this morning or last night or something like that.
But we want to continue to get updates on the war in Iran and the possibility of a ground invasion featuring U.S. forces. So for more on this right now, let's go out right now to Fox News's.
Oh, you know what? Actually, Jimmy Mack, that's right. For some reason, I got a whole different story mixed up that I was looking at last night while I was drinking a little bit. And so that makes sense that I would confuse myself. But yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I remember hearing that. So my apologies.
Jennifer Griffin joining us here with the very latest. Jennifer.
I just knew it wasn't the teacher that shot him.
The first thing to point out is there are not enough U.S. Marines or special operators who've been moved into the region for any sort of extended ground invasion. There may be a possibility of raids. There's been talk from the president about possibly sending special operations units, perhaps with the help of the 82nd Airborne, in to try and snatch and grab, if you will, the 900 pounds plus of highly enriched uranium. But that highly enriched uranium, we believe, is buried in tunnels at the Isfahan.
Yeah, good luck finding that shit. I mean, even with boots on the ground, that shit's going to be fucking near impossible.
Complex.
You have to have serious intelligence knowing where that shit is. I mean, by the second, by the way, because that shit can be moved underground.
And it would be a complicated ground operation that would put U.S. forces on the ground, not for a few hours, but for up to a week, if not longer. And that is very dangerous, given all the talk of this operation and the possibility that the Iranians would likely mine that area or ambush that area. Then there's the talk of taking the islands.
Yes, but pretty hard to get a fucking drone underground.
Island, which is about 500 miles north of the Strait of Hormuz, or Larak Island, which is closer to the Strait of Hormuz. We know that the 31st Marine Expedition.
What's up, Tiffany? Great to see you in the chat, by the way. Good morning.
Unit with about 3,500 sailors and Marines on board.
Oh man, you be careful out there, Pops. Always appreciate you, and thank you for hanging out with us, giving us updates and stuff, man. Give Mountain Woman our love.
Arrived
Absolutely.
In the region into the Arabian Sea over the weekend. They are in a position, but they have not crossed through.
No, I don't think I have seen that, by the way.
The Strait of Hormuz, and there's no evidence that they are going to be able to anytime soon. So they are not really in a position to take those islands in the coming days. It seems what is happening is a pressure campaign to back up this kind of talk of if negotiations that are nascent in Pakistan, from what we understand from the White House, with with possible Iranian leaders. They haven't said which ones. If those negotiations go forward or if they fail down the road, that the president would have military options.
What's up, Miss Lotus? Happy Topless Taco Tuesday, by the way. Hopefully you're enjoying your Tuesday morning so far.
But again, looking at the numbers and talking to military planners and experts, there still are not enough U.S. troops in place in the Middle East for these kind of specialized operations that are getting bandied about. Mike?
Yeah, Steve Posey, Steve Easy, 100%. Now, you know what's crazy is I'm sure that you've seen the IDF is claiming that they are having a numbers issue. You know, how many people are, fighting for them and stuff. There's a numbers issue with the IDF right now. But I said the same thing from day one, Steve, was if these guys want to do a whole ground invasion, let Israel do that. This is their war anyways. Let them do that. Let us be the support if we're going to do anything. But instead, we just got to take the lead and just stupid, man.
And Jennifer, with the talk there of President Trump about putting even more in the region in the coming days and weeks, is the hopes that that threat will really try to get Iran maybe off?
Mike, fix your fucking microphone. You're literally overbearing your microphone. Too much gain or something.
Filter a little bit, but at this point, it seems
up, Pablo?
that they are continuing on as being pretty much just trying to survive at all costs.
Well, they are trying to survive at all costs, and that was the assumption going into this. If the Iranians got to a point that enough of the regime could survive and they would see this as an existential threat, that then they would close the Strait of Hormuz. And that's what they have essentially done, while also reaching out, and we understand, to try some negotiations. But negotiations have failed in the past. There's not a lot of goodwill or trust.
We already know that. We already know that, lady. We don't need to get any further in that. We already know that. All right, great. We're moving on. Something more of a national thing, a national story. We broke the news when this whole thing happened, this Michigan synagogue that got attacked. And the FBI is now labeling it Hezbollah-inspired attack. Now, we're not going to watch this entire video. We're not going to do the whole press briefing, but we're going to get a little bit from them and see what they say.
Of this attack against the Jewish community at Temple Israel on March 12th. From the outset, this has been a full-scale investigation with our special agents, intelligence analysts, linguists, digital forensic examiners, evidence response team members, our professional staff, and our special agent bomb techs to work around the clock in close coordination with our law enforcement partners. Despite the fire in the truck and the assailant's attempts to delete his digital footprint, we have processed hundreds of digital and forensic evidence items. We've conducted over 100 interviews of witnesses, family, and associates. We also continue to work with our foreign partners to receive any information that would shed light on the activities of the assailant or any threats currently here in Michigan. Based on the evidence gathered to date, we assess this attack to be a Hezbollah-inspired act of terrorism, purposely targeting the Jewish community and the largest Jewish temple in Michigan. The FBI defines terrorism as a violent criminal act by an individual who is inspired by or associated with a designated foreign terrorist organization. We do not make this characterization lightly without a thorough review and keen evaluation of the facts. In this case, the evidence shows the attacker was motivated and inspired by Hezbollah's militant ideology. Although the assailant's attack planning and mobilization to violence began in earnest on March 9th, which I will fully detail here shortly, a review of his online activity since January 2026 revealed a reoccurring search history of pro-Hezbollah news channels, Iranian news channels, and videos about shootouts and bullets. He regularly consumed breaking news and statements and live coverage.
Well, shit, I focus on breaking news and coverage of the Middle East and the United States. I mean, shit.
The current Secretary General of Hezbollah, Naim Qassem, and viewed news coverage about an Iranian fatwa for total jihad against the U.S. military. Beginning on March 9th, during the early mornings, the assailant started viewing web pages of local synagogues. And in the afternoon, he attempted to purchase a weapon from 2 different individuals, both of whom we've identified and interviewed. After those people denied his request, he then purchased an AR-style rifle at a local gun store in Dearborn Heights, along with 10 rifle magazines and approximately 300 rounds of .223 rifle ammunition.
300? That's nothing, by the way, just so you guys know. 300 rounds? Yeah, that shit is what I shoot in an afternoon.
While he was at the gun store, he he ordered a rifle magazine pouch, as well as 40 5.3-gallon water containers from an online store. After that gun store, he then began researching locations for local fireworks vendors. Throughout the night of March 9th, the assailant began visiting numerous different web pages of Jewish cultural, educational, and religious centers all throughout the Detroit metro area, and even viewed multiple pages of upcoming events at Temple Israel. During the morning and early morning of March 10th, he continued his online searches with specific search terms and phrases such as the largest gathering of Israelis in Michigan, Orthodox synagogues, Israelis near me, what time is the Trump rally in Michigan, as well as a center affiliated with the Israeli embassy in Michigan.
So just for clarification, Steve Posey, Dean Savage is in Israel right now. He lives in Israel.
Later attempted.
He's like, I forget how many meters away from the Gaza Strip, but very close, like 600, 700 meters away from the Gaza Strip.
To try and delete these queries, but we were able to recover them. At approximately 1 p.m. on March 10th, the assailant visited a local shooting range and practiced shooting his new weapon. He then drove to the local fireworks vendor that he researched at approximately 2 p.m. and purchased over $2,200 of fireworks.
700 meters is the clarification, by the way. There you go.
After leaving that local fireworks vendor, he continued reviewing web pages related to Temple Israel, its clergy, and its upcoming events. On March 11th, the day before the attack, in the early morning, he began adding photos to a Facebook photo album that he entitled Vengeance. And he started including images such as the late Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khomeini, as well as the late Hezbollah Secretary General Hassan Nasrallah, with there in the right, in Arabic,
and they're both dead.
It says, "Burn their world, for we have a vendetta against them that we will never forget." Throughout that morning on the 11th, he continued to post photos of his deceased brothers, niece, and nephew, and exchanged some messages with his family. However, at approximately 2:20,
you know, actually, I wouldn't be able to do the math in my head that quick.
2 p.m., the delivery of his 45.3-gallon collapsible water containers arrived. And from 2:45 onward, we see him begin planning and organizing his truck. And he goes to get gas 4 different times so that he can fill up his...
What are you talking about? This is the FBI talking right now, Pompey. I don't know what you're talking about. It has nothing to do with the station that's reporting it. This is the FBI speaking.
Containers without alerting too much suspicion. By 10:50 p.m., he makes his final
run
to a gas station and purchases 2 torch lighters, which we believe he used to light his truck on fire. Throughout the same afternoon, while he's organizing his truck and going to gas stations, the assailant continued reviewing web pages for Temple Israel and its upcoming events. And by 6:30, he continued posting pro-Hezbollah propaganda, as well as videos of his brother, and watching a video about how Israel is the most violent country in the world. Next slide. This is just an example of some of the posts that he was posting during the afternoon of the 11th. On the left is a statement issued by the Islamic Resistance of Hezbollah about the beginning of a military operation on March 11th called El-As El-Makul, which is a term used in the Quran where it refers to the destruction of the enemy and turning the enemy into withered, dead leaves. In the bottom left of
yes, just like Naomi says, make sure you guys double tap that screen and hit the like button if you're on the horizontal. Listen, you guys don't have to like or love any of this shit that's happening around the world, but you guys can like it for me and what we do here. So thank you for that.
That photo on the left, you can see 2 logos. One is for the military media of the Islamic Resistance, and the second logo is for Lebanese Hezbollah. On the right is a meme with the actual verse from the Quran in the Al-Fil chapter, where it describes destroying the enemy and turning them into dead and withered leaves. At approximately 9:40 p.m., before he went to his last round of gas, he did one final search for what time is lunch at Temple Israel, and later deleted that
Susan, me, Mike Ball, the host of this very show, of this channel.
Query as well. On the morning of the attack,
what's up, Jack?
Early in the morning hours, he posted numerous photos to Facebook of his deceased family members, as well as the following comments. Can you go back one? Right there. In the early morning hours, he continued posting on random and various Facebook profiles that said, "We will seek retribution for their sacred blood." Simu, which was a phrase for his brother. "Heaven is fortunate to have you." "Israel is a cancerous, malignant growth." "Israel is pure evil." And the oppressors will soon know what kind of end they will meet.
All right, so we get the point that this whole thing was a sleeper cell operation. Absolutely. All right, we're going to talk a little bit real quick. We just got to, because this is a major story that's happening with NASA right now. I know this is not more of shape-shifting of the world right now, but we're going to have to bring our attention to this just for a moment. We don't need to watch the whole thing or anything. So as you guys know, Artemis, or Artemis, or however you say the freaking thing, Artemis flight. NASA officials brief media ahead of moon mission. Now, this moon mission is supposed to be starting off tomorrow, as early as tomorrow. It could be delayed by a couple days, is what it said. But let's go ahead and bring this up and quickly discuss this, and then we'll get right back into the craziness of the world.
Person crew, and let's take us out right now to this live update from NASA, providing the last-minute details on this Artemis 2 mission around the moon.
That's how you say it.
Mission management team, and Emily Nelson, Chief Flight Director. We'll be taking questions shortly from media here in the room and through our phone bridge, but before we get started, we will kick it off with some opening remarks from our panel. Ahmet.
Afternoon. Let's see, we just wrapped up our L-2 mission management team review, and the team pulled go to proceed towards the planned April 1st launch attempt. The MMT walked through the usual readiness items, vehicle status, ground systems, flight hardware, and the integrated launch operations timeline. We also reviewed the most recent engineering assessments, program level preparedness, and any open items from early reviews, in particular the agency FRR. After thoroughly walking through each of these areas, the team concluded that everything continues to look good, and there are no issues preventing us from pressing ahead at this point.
I got you, Susan. Respect to that.
As we enter the pre-launch phase, the teams are in a strong posture, and the mission remains on.
What's up, Two Wheel Jesus? Shout out to my man out there in Texas. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning so far, your topless Taco Tuesday.
On track.
Hit the like button, everybody.
Over the last 10 weeks, the agency has prepared a crewed lunar test vehicle for flight and also restructured the program that it belongs to. This was done deliberately. A crew that understands the campaign flies with greater purpose. A workforce that sees the road ahead holds a higher standard. This flight and the future reinforce each other. This is how Apollo worked, and this is how we will work.
Yeah, no kidding, Dean Savage. You know what? I'd probably wait the next day, too. You know, it's kind of like trying to fly off on Friday the 13th or something like that. It's like, you know what? Let's just wait until Saturday the 14th.
Through all of it, the signal of truth and rigor came through clean from the teams working on the machine to the decision makers. Nobody lost focus. Nobody cut a corner. The people in this room and in the control rooms and on the pad and at every center across the agency, you are all instrumental. The skills that you carry, the judgment you have built, the knowledge you hold, these are the things that are in the lifeblood of the agency. This mission is going to fly on Wednesday because you are here. As I said, the vehicle's ready.
Hey, Ricky and Bubbles definitely got the prime space suite up there.
The system is ready, the crew is ready, and behind this flight stands a campaign. Landings, a lunar base, a nuclear propulsion into deep space. That begins, not ends, with what happens on Wednesday evening. I have complete confidence in this team and the NASA workforce. For everybody else, 53 years ago, humanity left the moon and did not return. Now we go back. The great challenges of the last century will run not in the command centers alone.
And you know what's funny is he doesn't even say NASA. He says like NASA. You don't own space, NASA does.
But in our factories, where the industrial might of free nations built the instruments of progress.
Shit, what's up, Fiz? Great to see you in the chat, man. Hopefully you've been well. I haven't seen you in a long time. Hopefully all is well. And hopefully you're also enjoying your topless Taco Tuesday. I definitely know that we are.
This challenge of expanding the frontier will be won the same way, by the craftsmen, the engineers, and the industries of free nations building together what no nation can build alone. And for all the children watching that are going to watch Artemis 2, you need to hear us. An optimistic vision of the future is not naive. It is buildable. So when you watch Artemis 2, think about it. When it lands, come and build.
Guys, we have 246 people in here. Make sure you guys get the likes up and double tap that screen if you're on the vertical side. I very much appreciate you guys hanging out with us this morning, man.
Build it with us. With that, I'll hand it over to the launch director.
Thanks, Ahmet. Appreciate that. You know, it is really good to be here in the room with you today. And I think I said this when we came over for Wet Dress. I said I really enjoy being here because generally it's something big is getting ready to happen. So thanks for all of you for being here today, and thanks for coming along with us on this journey and help.
All right, this was great. I'm glad that we were able to have this discussion. All right, we're moving on. You know, listen, you guys know that the launch is going to happen tomorrow. That was their whole little panel of people discussing the whole thing. So anyways, and the astronauts. Anyways, Middle East update. White House says Iran war timeline remains in place.
Stop the cap.
All right, let's go ahead and bring this up, and we'll discuss it quickly. Here we go.
All right, welcome back here.
Oh, you know what we haven't done? Shit, we haven't done the money part yet. Everybody, hold on. We got to get the money part over.
All right, just get the money part done.
Give me money. Money me. Money now. Me a money needing a lot now.
Now that was great propaganda. All right, back to this. All right, let's do this.
From Fox, I'm Andy Mack. Let's continue on with our coverage of what's going on in the Middle East. More than 5 weeks since the Operation Epic Fury underway, as there's somewhat of a pause as President Trump there trying to negotiate with those in the region to avoid a larger escalation, but preparations being made by the Pentagon and the Trump administration for ground troops. That's what we're hearing in different reports. Let's take us out right now to Rebecca Castor with the latest.
The U.S. may be waiting to target Iran's energy sites, but the Iranians have shown little regard for critical infrastructure. Monday, Iranian missiles hit water and electrical plants in Kuwait and an oil refinery in Israel.
This is not time to pull back. They still have systems. You can see they're still able to fire rockets, missiles. We need to take down this system entirely.
Even so, President Trump says negotiations with Iran are going well, and a deal could even be finalized this week.
What's up, Sterling Wheel, my man? Shout out to you. And I saw the picture with you and Carrie, man. That was so fucking awesome, man. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning so far.
If not, Iran's electrical plants, oil wells, and vital energy infrastructure on Karg Island could become targets.
If the Iranians reject this golden opportunity, the greatest military in the history of the world continues to stand by to provide President Trump with every option available to ensure this regime continues to pay a grave price.
That includes thousands of U.S. Marines and Army paratroopers now in the region, as well as Navy SEALs and Army Rangers. According to the Washington Post, the Pentagon is preparing for weeks of ground operations in Iran, such as targeted raids. But the plans do not include a full-scale invasion.
Quite frankly, the United States is in a very strong position. There's nothing that should be given in order to get them to agree.
This guy, I got a question.
Why are you gay? To end the hostilities.
President Trump's latest deadline for Iran to show it's serious about ending the war and reopen the Strait of Hormuz is a week.
She looks like a China doll.
From today. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
All right, thank you so much. And President Trump really on his own timeline in terms of things. But that was the post earlier today on Truth Social from the president talking about great progress has been made, but for any reason, a deal not shortly reached.
You know, honestly, I think the shit was fake as fuck, by the way, you know, but that's only because you were asking.
Which will probably be, if the Strait of Hormuz is not open for business, we will conclude our
I got a lot of people that are going to be mad at me for that.
Up and completely obliterating all of their electric generating plants. All right, let's continue on here and bring into the conversation right now for more White House correspondent with Reuters, friend of the program, Trevor Honeycutt. Trevor, thank you so much for joining us here. And President Trump put a 48-hour ultimatum. He extended it to a week from basically today. Where do we stand at this moment? Where is the Trump administration thinking?
Right. So at this point, we are at kind of maximum pressure in terms of the military campaign, right? We've got the ongoing bombing, and then we've got the threat that bombing is going to start extending to civil infrastructure targets within the country. We've got special operations and other forces standing by. So that is the pressure campaign that's happening on that side. And then we've also got this diplomatic track as well that's happening.
Now, don't think that this guy's a nobody. He actually does work over there at Reuters or whatever. So
where there are conversations that are happening, whether they're intermediated by another country or not, essentially to get these two sides to a deal. So that's where we are right now, is trying to see if this diplomatic process can play out or if things are going to get a lot worse.
Yeah, and obviously the timeline is a big question for so many people now entering a fifth week. Caroline Levitt say this is just...
What's up, Jessica, over there on the Facebook side of things? Hopefully you're having a wonderful Taco Tuesday, your topless Taco Tuesday. Great to see
Day
you.
30, and they kind of set the blueprint as 4 to 6 weeks. So we're still in that window. Do they still foresee this timeline working out? Because that could be over quickly.
Right. And the question is exactly what does that timeline mean? So we could say that there's an end to military operations in 2 weeks, right? And that would be 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. Just so you guys know. Not going to happen.
But there could still be other, sorts of things that are happening. The diplomatic process might not be done in 2 weeks.
There is no diplomatic process happening right now. Nothing. I mean, yes, Iran allowed, I think, a total of 20 ships to go through the strait for the United States, basically, but that was it.
But the U.S. could still, in some ways, claim that there's victory, right? We had Trump saying that we've already seen regime change. And he could say that, hey, there's a deal on the horizon regarding nuclear. And so as far as I'm concerned, we met our objectives within 6 weeks. But there could still be, activities that are going on beyond that period.
Yeah, that is a very good point, and we'll see, because he sometimes extends these timelines, put the pressure on, but then extends them. In terms of the
and I do believe that, Jimmy Mack. I believe that they will take out a lot of their, equipment for sure. I do agree with that. We definitely have the air, just the air support from both sides of Israel and the United States. I mean, it's just, they're going to get decimated in that sense. But on a diplomatic whole thing, like getting the strait to be opened up again, like all these things, it's going to be very, very difficult, and that's not gonna happen within the 6-week mark. We're about to put troops on like 6 islands.
Negotiations, because we know that Pakistan is somewhat of a mediator. How are these negotiations going? Because we're gleaning more light into who exactly the Trump administration is negotiating with now.
Well, the thing that's really important to remember is that there's the public kind of posing and posturing that's happening right now on the Iranian side and also on the U.S. side. That's one thing. But then you also have these kind of more complex conversations that are happening behind the scenes. And that's where, there could be much more that's happening, right? And so you have, as you mentioned, Pakistan taking on this key role. Mm-hmm. It's not just passing messages from one side to the other.
Well, it kind of is. I mean, they're playing a decent middleman. I'm just glad it wasn't Turkey or some shit.
They also have an ability to kind of shape an outcome here in terms of, telling each side what the other side is willing and not willing to accept. And so this is kind of a very important conversation that's happening, and it's very different from what we're seeing publicly.
And obviously, just what we're seeing and hearing potentially behind closed doors is that they are far apart. They're making some wide demands with the United States.
Yes, that is correct, Warlander. Tomorrow would absolutely be Whip 'em Out Wednesday.
In Iran, how do they get the two sides to come together in any way? Is either side indicating they're willing to compromise?
No, Joseph, not that they gave 20 ships. They didn't give us 20 ships. What they allowed is 20 ships to pass through the strait. Just so you know. That's all it was.
So I think for
Trump kind of made it sound like he got gifted their oil or some shit, but that didn't happen. We got gifted allowing ships to go through the strait.
Us who are watching this from the outside, the key thing to look for is, does the hostility start decreasing, right? Does Iran start allowing more ships to pass through the Strait of Hormuz? Does the U.S. stop, the bombing raids that it's doing? Because that'll kind of show that there is at least enough movement on the diplomatic front that they feel like they don't need to increase pressure. And so the fact that we are still seeing, violence and attacks happening suggests that we just aren't there yet.
And is Israel playing ball with all of this? Because we talk about them being such a critical player, being the imminent threat from Iran to Israel. Are they involved in this? How might they impact if we get to April 6th and no deal is reached?
Well, right. So that is a key thing, because Israel is a little bit on the
it's not the key thing, it's the most important thing
side also looking in, because they are not directly involved in these negotiations at this point. It's already clear that they have a different perspective on what the end game should be here. We've heard that from Tulsi Gabbard, we've heard that from Israeli officials, we've heard that from lots of people. And so I think what would happen is that they are going to wait and see how this plays out, and then if they feel like a deal is coming together that they don't like, that is when Netanyahu will start to lean on Donald Trump and try to get him to say no to a deal.
Yes, and also I believe that we had sent aid yesterday to Cuba. Now, Caroline Leavitt, the way that she said it in the White House press briefing is that it is a case-by-case thing. They're not like promising they're going to give more and continue giving humanitarian aid. So that's what I picked up from what she was saying, by the way. But they have sent some at least some aid to Cuba.
It doesn't work for Israel.
Yeah, a lot can change in just
What's up,
a
Chan
week's
with Stacks,
time.
my man?
Trevor, what other
Good morning.
questions do you have for the Trump administration about this conflict? What's on your mind? What do you hope to ask Caroline at the next briefing?
Yeah, so I think, one of the key things that's really going to be, critical to understand is how much further are they actually willing to escalate, right? So we had a number of questions on that today.
Well, yes, and like, are you willing to attack energy? Are you willing to take out, the grid? Are you willing to take out their oil? Yeah, no, that's exactly right. So, anyways, we're gonna move on. We have an update. TSA workers begin to get paid amid a record-long DHS shutdown. So let's go ahead and bring that up, and we'll go ahead and discuss this. But also what we need to do is embrace our fuck-ups. That's what we need to do, especially America right now. We need to embrace thy fuck-up.
Don't beat yourself up over past mistakes. You are going to fuck up again in the future, quite possibly in a most spectacular fashion. Why worry about yesterday's fuck-ups? Don't you have tomorrow's fuck-ups to look forward to? You are a fuck up, and fucking up is part of your growth process. Embrace the process.
Embrace thy process. All right, let's go ahead and bring up this next story with TSA getting paid.
You can hear too live now from Fox. I am Andy Mack. TSA agents finally got paid today as Fox is learning that it doesn't cover the entire pay period of the Department of Homeland Security that has been shut down. So while there is a little relief, there is
it's a little bit of relief. It's not full funding. Interesting.
Frustration over this ongoing partial government shutdown and this funding lapse. For more on this, let's go out to Caroline Elliott with this report.
After weeks of chaotic long lines at the airport, TSA got paid and lines are still long, but not 3 hours long.
It's good for the travelers. It's good for the workers. I think it's a win-win for everybody.
Wait times at some of the hardest hit airports like Atlanta and Houston were significantly better on Monday morning, but it's unclear how long that could last.
And yes, we are getting paid, and we're very, very grateful for that. But there's still questions regarding next pay period. We don't know if we're going to be funded.
Lead TSA officers told Fox News because the fight is still going on in Washington, the next paycheck is not promised. And that's why so many TSA agents are still calling out of work. On Sunday, more than 3,000 agents didn't show up, more than 10% of TSA's entire workforce.
Nothing will be truly normal.
Well, it went down to 50% of all TSA agents were calling out sick. I mean, disregard how many people quit. Think about how many people were just like, hey, I'm not quitting, but I'm just not coming in. Hey, I'm sick today, and I'm sick tomorrow too. Sick the next day.
Again, until Democrats do the right thing to fund this agency fully.
TSA is stuck in the middle of a long, drawn-out fight in Congress that has nothing to do with travel. The problem is Republicans and Democrats cannot agree.
My man, Virginia Chaos. Shout out to you, my man. Happy Topless Taco Tuesday. Great to see you.
On ICE policies and Border Patrol.
There's a few simple reforms we've been talking about now for weeks. Wearing body cameras, identifying what agency you're from.
It's clearly the Democrats' fault right now, and we're still negotiating.
Lawmakers left Washington Friday without a solution, but the White House is now asking Congress to cut their Easter recess short to fix the problem. In New York, Caroline Elliott, Fox News.
All right, thank you so much. And that's just a minor Band-Aid for TSA as frustration grows amongst those agents, but also the greater American public. As this from Caroline Levitt earlier today said, Trump wants Congress to cut short their Easter recess to return to Washington to resolve the DHS shutdown.
Good.
This from the White House press secretary at the briefing today.
Yeah, they shouldn't have 2 weeks to go like back to their districts right now and hang out with their people and all that shit. No, you need to be here when this shit is shut down and people are like losing their livelihoods. Yeah, you need to be over here, Anyways, so at least we know that this is all happening. Let's move into the next national problem that we've got. National gas average hits $4 for the first time since 2022 as Iran war continues. And this just came out around midnight last night. It was like 10, 11 p.m. last night that this came out. So for full transparency anyways.
Welcome back into Live Now from Fox. I'm Jay Russell. Thank you for sticking with us. Gas prices are soaring high again.
I got a question for him as well.
Why are you gay? And all across the country. At last check, AAA has told us that gas prices are now reaching the $4 mark. Just under a month ago, gas prices were $1 less. The questions now lead to, where do we go from here? Will gas prices remain the same or will they lower down? I'm bringing in now an oil analyst, as you see right there. Andrew,
you be safe out there, No. Always appreciate you as well.
Andrew, I got to ask you, that's the main question that America wants to know about right now. Is this just the beginning of the increase or are we closer to the peak right now?
Well, thanks very much for having me. I think that gasoline prices are going to continue to rise as the conflict drags on. And of course, the oil market is really looking for the conflict to end and the Strait of Hormuz to reopen so that
No shit, Sherlock.
we can actually resupply the market and see prices fall.
And
Okay, that was a great synopsis of shit we did not know about.
We're definitely paying at the pump right now, as you see that video right there. With the gas prices rising so quickly, how long does this normally stay like this and stay elevated?
Well, unfortunately, I really don't have good news because the answer depends on how long the conflict and the supply disruption lasts. So the oil market is looking at this on a day-by-day basis. And as the conflict drags on, we're seeing a greater and greater disruption into the oil market, which means higher prices, which unfortunately translates into higher gasoline prices and diesel prices for the consumer.
You know, you were just bringing this up off camera, but as of tomorrow, we could be seeing the $4 mark, gas prices going over that. Realistically, looking ahead right now into the spring, into the summertime, what do you think drivers will be paying at that point?
I 100% agree with this, Virginia Chaos. I absolutely agree with this.
Well, I think that in the next couple of weeks, we could see gasoline prices on a national basis tick on up to $4.10 a gallon, $4.15 a gallon. But my biggest concern is you see it on the news about the Strait of Hormuz being closed, Saudi Arabia diverting oil towards the Red Sea, the Houthis now being involved in the conflict, and them shutting off the transit way through the Red Sea.
Right, which is another strait. And we've been discussing that, you know, with the whole strait. Let me go ahead and, for anybody that's new here, it's not like I'm going to spend a lot of time on this. I'll just briefly show you guys. Okay, so we've got the Strait of Hormuz up here, as you guys can see, alongside the coast of Iran, going into the Gulf states. Well, the Houthis just got involved, and we actually predicted this whole thing days before it actually happened. I sat here and was explaining how I'm interested on how the Houthi rebels hadn't gotten themselves involved yet. They've secretly just kind of just laid low, didn't do anything. And they were waiting so that they can close down this strait as well. This strait, not just oil and gas, but 12% of all cargo goes through this strait right here. So now they've essentially shut down that strait because the Houthis run all of this area, the big quote unquote kind of city, like it's mountainous as well, but like all this stuff up here, it's almost unlivable in most of Yemen. This is like the livable part, and this is where the Houthis control it. So anyways, that's what I just wanted to show you guys that real quick. We understand we don't need to hear any more about that analyst talking about oil and gas. We already know the deal. Sorry. Moving on. President Trump shares video of massive explosion in Iran.
Right now, what I want to do is pop this up on your screen. Again, in just a matter of minutes, we expect to get an update on Operation Epic Fury from...
Yes, and I have that whole conference from the Pentagon with Pete Hegseth and General Kane. So we're going to see that here in a minute, but I want to skip past this part because they're just showing the media, hey, this is going to happen.
On your screen, as just hours ago,
I saw this
President Trump
last night.
shared this video on Truth Social showing a massive explosion. While he did not include a comment with the footage, it appears to show a
or maybe I saw it super early this morning. I don't know.
Major strike outside the Iranian city of Isfahan. According to the Associated Press, a NASA fire tracking satellite suggests...
What's up, Fidel? Great to see you in the chat, by the way. Hopefully you're enjoying your Topless Taco Tuesday as well.
Yes, those explosions happen near an area believed to have military positions there. As of now, Iran has not acknowledged that attack. We are waiting on a statement there. Isfahan is home to one of 3 uranium enrichment sites that were bombed by the U.S. during the 12-day war between Iran and Israel. That was in June of last year. Also want to pop this up on your screen right here. This is coming in from the Israel Defense Forces a bit earlier on this morning. Again, popping this up to give you kind of a look at what they're saying kind of happened this morning as the Israel Defense Forces says that Israel completed another wave of strikes against...
Be safe out there, brother So Loud. We'll see you on the flip side, and make sure you ride safe, man.
Weapon production sites in Tehran overnight. This is an illustration provided by the IDF saying targets struck included a facility that was used for casting and filling ballistic missile warheads to launch at Israel and other locations as well. I do want to bring in Enya Kravin over at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies to talk about all of this here, including the latest updates that we are getting from the IDF and from the Pentagon. Enya, as always, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us.
Always a pleasure to be with you, Josh.
Are they going to be okay? Here's what's going to happen here. They're going to end up talking about this upcoming event with the Pentagon. I already have that, so we're just going to move straight into that. We don't need to hear her give speculation about what is going to be said or whatever the case is. Anyways, here we go. We're not going to play this whole thing. We don't have time to do it today. Usually we do play the whole thing. We see all the questions and all the things, but we're just going to get the monologues from both of them, and then we have to move on into the CENTCOM. They gave us an update right before we started the live stream. Like as we were hitting live, CENTCOM came out with an update on Operation Epic Fury as strikes intensify in Iran. So anyways, here we go.
Well, over the weekend, I had the opportunity to visit our troops fighting in Operation Epic Fury. We were on the ground in CENTCOM on Saturday for about half the day. For reasons of
say that again.
In CENTCOM Epic Fury. We were on the ground in CENTCOM on Saturday for about half the day. For reasons of operational security, so those troops are not targeted, the places and bases will not be named.
Disclosed.
Suffice it to say, the trip was an honor. I had a chance to bear witness, and I witnessed the best of America. I witnessed warriors, a brotherhood of men and women, warriors all, active duty, guard, and reserve, united in their love for each other, their shared purpose, and their commitment to the mission. I witnessed sheer competency. I watched a private first
I'm going to speed them up. I usually have it at 1.25 anyways, but here we go.
Class confidently calling out an enemy missile trajectory to a room full of officers. Everyone focused. The room was locked in. 2 enemy missiles successfully shot down.
Let's get the likes up, man. We got the likes are way low today. Make sure you guys double tap the screen. You guys don't have to like the craziness that's happening. I mean, listen, no one likes this shit, but you guys can like it for me and what we're doing here. So thank you.
I spoke to Air Force and Navy pilots on the flight line who every day both deliver bombs deep into Iran, but also shoot down drones defending their base. Many had just returned from the skies of Iran and Tehran. I put on a headset and spoke to one crew in the cockpit, locked and loaded, each and every day. I witnessed ingenuity, American ingenuity. I met the young Army officer who figured out how to neutralize maneuvering enemy missiles, saving countless lives. His commander confirmed that the whoops and cheers erupted in the Tactical Operations Center when his new approach was first successful. I met the Air Force intel analyst who refines target packages faster than the enemy can adapt. I actually gave him my card and told him to keep me posted on the ground truth. I did the same with his boss, a colonel with a heart the size of Texas and a beautiful deployment mustache to match. I witnessed lethality. I met a junior airman as the sun was going down and a chill was setting on the tarmac, who, when asked what they needed, she simply looked up at me with a sly smile on her face and said, "More bombs, sir, and bigger bombs. We will happily oblige her." I met the Army targeting team who found and sunk the pride and joy of the Iranian Navy, their fighting position plastered with images of sunken enemy ships. And I witnessed urgency. Right when we landed, another C-17 landed just minutes after us. And within 30 seconds of the aircraft coming to a full stop, a team on the ground pulled up and the cargo was being uploaded. Wartime speed. To a man and to a woman, on the ground, in the air, on the flight line, and in the TOC, I heard, "We want everything faster, higher op tempo, wartime speed." The feeling was the exact opposite of the rotational units year after year in the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan that we're so familiar with. In those wars, it was always about the next rotation, never knowing when the mission would end or exactly what the mission was, year after year. Not with Epic Fury. I witnessed urgency to finish the job, urgency to achieve mission success, not looking at the next rotation, only moving as fast as possible to win. I got a chance to troop the line, to witness firsthand what we already know is true. Spoke to all ranks and all services, none of whom knew we were coming. It was not rehearsed or scripted. Sometimes we just wandered. What I witnessed was motivation. It was sheer mission focus. It was the American warrior unleashed. It was the kind of warfighting American spirit that comes with a clear mission against a determined enemy. A crew chief we flew with summed it up nicely. He said, "It's been a busy few weeks, sir. Tough stuff. But I'm so honored to be called up. This fight is long overdue. We need to address it for our kids. We cannot pass the buck. Please thank the president from us." I heard that time and time again. I asked each young American, "What do you need?" And nobody said better equipment. Nobody said more comfortable living conditions. Nobody said send me home. Well, of course, eventually we want all those things. They do too. But what those Americans said to me, young and old, officer and NCO, male and female, black and white, was, let's finish the mission. Get us even more bombs, bigger bombs, more targets. Let us finish this. In fact, Admiral Cooper noted this morning that the 3 Air Force captains shot down by Kuwaiti-friendly fire early in the fight weeks ago. They never left the theater. All dropped bombs over Tehran last night. These men and women live the Iranian threat every day, incoming missiles and drones, and know what a world looks like, what the world would look like if Iran had the most dangerous weapons in the world, a nuclear weapon. As President Trump has said time and time again for years, and in this administration, Iran cannot have a nuclear bomb, and they won't. These troops, they want to finish this fight for their kids and their grandkids. This is about history. This is about legacy. Success matters. And because of this president and these Americans, we're closer than ever before to winning. President Trump is doing what no other president had the guts to do. Previous presidents were all talk. He's all action. On the battlefield, because of the latitude the president has given us, American firepower is only increasing. Iran's decreasing. We have more and more options, and they have less. Just 1 month in, only 1 month, we set the term.
That is so funny, Steve Posey. And the greatest thing about it is when I get myself elected, when that happens, if I'm lucky enough to be able to be a true servant leader, I'm going to be straight up. I'm not changing for nothing. No establishment, no certain look. If people like who I am, then they'll like me for who I am. You know what I mean? That's just the way it is. I'm not going to be playing none of that PC shit. You know what I mean?
The upcoming days will be decisive. Iran knows that, and there's almost nothing they can militarily do about it. Yes, they will still shoot some missiles, but we will shoot them down. Of note, the last 24 hours saw the lowest number of enemy missiles and drones fired by Iran. They will go underground, but we will find them. We recently destroyed another one of their command bunkers. Leaders forced to flee. No water, no power, no oxygen, no command and control. Their faith in their caves diminishing. The latest intel is clear out of CENTCOM. Our strikes are damaging the morale of the Iranian military, leading to widespread desertions, key personnel shortages, and causing frustrations amongst senior leaders. Just last night, we had 200 dynamic strikes alone. Dynamic strike is a strike where a pilot leaves, and during their flight, they get a new target set based on real-time intel given to them. A new launcher, a new location, a new troop formation. A dynamic target is one that changes while you're in the air because of improved intelligence. 200 dynamic strikes alone, in addition to the pre-planned targets. The video the president posted last night of Esfahan, an ammo depot struck by U.S.
You be safe out there, Brother Beezer. We'll see you on the flip side.
U.S. bombers. You
safe
don't
out
get to
there?
see many of those videos because, as a reminder, Iran has still shut off the internet to 99.9% of its population. But if Iran is wise, they will cut a deal. President Trump doesn't bluff, and he does not back down. You can ask Khomeini about that. The new Iranian regime should know that by now. This new regime, because regime change has occurred, should be wiser than the last. President Trump will make a deal he is willing, and the terms of the deal are known to them. If Iran is not willing, then the United States War Department will continue with even more intensity. Standing here this morning in this briefing room, in my mind's eye, I'm actually looking out at the groups I met this weekend. The pilots, the logisticians, the intel analysts, the targeters, the sustainers, the flight crews, the air defenders, the base security, those maintainers. So we walked up at sunset with the chill in the air on the flight line.
Yo, brother, Virginia Chaos coming in and gifting out a membership, my man. Thank you very much for making it rain for not only me, but you're helping somebody in the Insane Wheels family. I very much appreciate you, bro. Thank you for that.
May God watch over all of them, each day and each night. May his almighty and eternal arms of providence stretch over them and protect them and bring them peace. In the name of Jesus Christ, and amen. Mr. Chairman, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary, and good morning, everyone, and thank you again for being here. As operations continue, I remain deeply grateful for the service and determination of 2.8 million members of our joint force, each of whom are serving something greater than themselves. Every day, those deployed, and in many cases, those at home who are deploying forward.
Yes, we have 239 people in here between both the live streams. Let's get the likes up, everybody. Hit that like button and double tap that screen if you're on the vertical side. Thank you, guys.
And Bomber Pulses and others put themselves in harm's way, and we owe them a deep debt of gratitude. I remain especially grateful for our fallen who gave the ultimate sacrifice. We'll never forget their valor and their determination to do something greater than themselves. And each day we continue to earn what they've given to us. This morning I want to share that yesterday the Joint Force had the honor of participating in the burial of Colonel Clarence Emil Bud Anderson, who passed away in May of 2024 at the ripe old age of 102. He was laid to rest in Arlington Cemetery yesterday morning alongside his wife of 70 years, Eleanor, who he married on February 23rd, 1945. She passed away in 2015 at the age of 92. Bud, yesterday, a legend to our Air Force and fighter pilots everywhere, was honored with a combination flyby of F-35s and a four-ship of P-51 Mustangs. He was one of the most prolific flying aces of World War II and the highest-scoring P-51 ace with 16 and a quarter kills in his squadron.
Well, being that she's the head moderator, Jimmy, where does a head moderator got to be? You know, it's going to be in the vertical side where it's out of control. You know what I mean?
And in his group, and he served from 1942 to 1972. And
what's up, Quick Shoe? Shout out to my man. Hopefully you're enjoying your Topless Taco Tuesday as well.
Last combat tour was flying F-104 Thunder Chiefs over North Vietnam. For anyone that had the chance to meet Colonel Anderson, you knew what an incredibly special man he was. And that's true for each and every one of our World War II vets who become fewer and fewer with each passing day. They are the greatest generation and give us the gift of an incredible example as we execute Operation Epic Fury today. And Colonel Anderson, we mourn for your loss and remember that smile on the right side as you went out to do our nation's business. I'd like to now share an operational update. Our Joint Force continues to focus on our military objectives as we systematically continue to degrade and destroy Iran's ability.
Listen, man, I fucking hate those things too, Steve. Yeah, fuck them. I look crazy trying to swat them off of us too, you know what I mean? Absolutely.
To project power and threaten stability beyond its borders. First, the Joint Force continues to destroy Iran's ballistic missile and UAS capabilities. We remain focused on interdicting and destroying the logistical and supply chains that feed these programs. And this remains a truly joint effort prosecuted around the clock from air, land, sea, space, and cyberspace. Long-range bombers from U.S. Strategic Command are coordinating with tactical fighter aircraft from our Joint Force launched from bases around the region and the continental United States, while simultaneously Navy fighters from the sea and sailors continue to project power from the sea, while Army and Marine artillery units continue to execute long-range precision fires deep into enemy territory against high-value targets. Meanwhile, on the defense side, our Army and air defenders and aviators, as the Secretary talked about, remain vigilant, forming a shield to protect our forces and our partners, intercepting missiles and drones. Together, we continue to deliver precision strikes against key manufacturing nodes, component storage sites, research facilities deep within Iranian territory. And over the past 30 days, we've struck more than 11,000 targets. Given the increase in air superiority, we've successfully started to conduct the first overland B-52 missions, which allow us, as we've said before, to continue to get on top of the enemy.
What's up, Extra Surprise? Shout out to you as well. Good morning.
And as the Secretary talked about, switch towards more and more dynamic targets, servicing mobile targets around the battle space. We've continued to do the work against Iran's missile, drone, and naval production facilities, and we continue the multi-domain pressure that we've talked about. Second, on the Navy front, we continue to assert dominance over the Iranian Navy. We remain focused on targeting their mine laying capability, their naval assets, and we've now, as I mentioned briefly last time, started to work attack helicopters and other close air support assets into the naval domain. CENTCOM continues to identify and work against naval depots and storage areas, and we've taken out, again, more than 150 ships ships, including all Jamaran-class frigates inside their Navy. Third, we continue to prosecute our campaign against our defense industrial base at scale. This includes factories, warehouses, nuclear weapons research and development.
What's up, Timothy? Great to see you in the chat.
Labs.
Good morning.
And the associated infrastructure required for Iran to reconstitute its combat capability. I'd like to continue my theme of highlighting the incredible contributions of Americans to our joint force.
Okay, that's great. We're going to go ahead and move on into CENTCOM gives this update on Operation Epic Fury as strikes intensify in Iran. So it just came out right before we hit go live this morning, just an hour ago. And so let's go ahead and bring this up and we'll discuss it quickly. I'm going to also, while this plays, I'm going to look and see if anyone's live that we can redirect to.
Hi, I'm Admiral Brad Cooper, Commander of U.S. Central Command, here in the Middle East with our 50,000 service members to provide my 6th update on Operation Epic Fury. Now in our 5th week of the campaign, it is my operational assessment that we are making undeniable progress in eliminating Iran's ability to project power in meaningful ways outside its borders. We don't see their Navy sailing, we don't see their aircraft flying, and their air defense and missile defense systems have largely been destroyed. Despite our clear dominance, our forces remain vigilant. It's long been my belief that every success we have begins and ends with our people, and our warfighters deployed for it are doing outstanding work. During this trip, I've had the privilege to recognize and award our troops for their courage, resilience, and tenacity as they continue to go above and beyond. Yeah.
It's pretty fun work.
Great job. Great job. You enjoy it, huh?
Thank you, sir.
How long have you been in?
12 years, sir.
Fantastic. How you doing?
Pretty good, sir.
I'm from Ohio.
Okay, what part?
Toledo, sir.
Okay, great. Fantastic, fantastic. Thanks for what you're doing. Much appreciated.
Yes, sir.
What's your job?
I'm a wizard for the Strike Eagle.
Okay, and how many missions have you flown?
Probably a couple dozen at this point.
And how long?
What's up, Caroline? Hopefully you're enjoying your Topless Taco Tuesday as well as all of us here. We definitely are. Great to see you in the chat.
Have you personally been out here?
Been out here only since February, sir.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, thanks for keep up the great work. Thanks so much. In the meantime, I'm wishing you all the best. I think of you every day and with a lot of pride. So thanks for what you're doing. I really appreciate it and couldn't be prouder. I met with our service members who are operating the most sophisticated and largest active air defense umbrella in the world, right here in the Middle East, to defend against Iran's indiscriminate missile and drone attacks. Since day one, our warfighters have also shown unmatched reach and lethality.
Yeah, Virginia Chaos, I have it directed to him after the show. We're going to be rating Chatting with Stacks.
In systematically dismantling Iran's drone, missile, and naval capabilities by delivering a massive amount of firepower. Every branch of the military is achieving unprecedented success. Our naval forces have launched waves upon waves of cruise missiles and fighter aircraft from the sea. U.S. Air Forces have extended our reach with refueling tankers while executing a high volume of airstrikes into Iran with fighters and bombers. Our soldiers and Marines have delivered long-range strikes from land and mounted a robust air defense to not only protect Americans, but our partners as well. And our Space Force has given us the ultimate high ground, delivering space superiority, which has been a critical enabler to this fight.
What's up, Time to Stand? I got you, homie.
Why are you gay?
Great to see you in the chat.
After witnessing the absolute professionalism, discipline, and dedication of our men and women in uniform supporting Operation Epic Fury, I just could not be prouder. And I know that their families, friends, and loved ones back home share this pride. So to all the moms, dads, husbands, wives, friends, and loved ones back home, thank you for everything that you're doing to support our outstanding warriors. There is no adversary too determined, no mission too difficult, and no task too great for our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, Guardian, and Coast Guardsmen that make up the most powerful military the world has ever seen. To all our warfighters, keep up the great work and Godspeed. Thanks so much.
All right, that's the update. Ladies and gentlemen, that wraps us up for the morning. We only had 9 minutes of overtime today. So listen, thank you all very much for allowing me to be able to do this every single day. Well, aside from Sunday, of course. And of course, Saturday, we're not discussing any of this crazy shit. We're talking about, funny ass shit. That's what we're doing over there. We have a good time. And we try to get away from all of this craziness that we report Monday through Friday. Anyways, listen, we're going to be back tomorrow morning for more of the world's madness. Until then, God bless everyone. We'll see you guys very soon and stay safe out there. Much love.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning.